Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Matt and welcome to the 3rd anniversary of Gran Turismo 7. Somehow, someway, it's been 3 whole years since this fabulous game has been released. When I first picked this up, it was on release day. I had a PlayStation 4 that wasn't even mine. It was my then girlfriend's that I was borrowing at the time. I was playing it on controller, and I had no idea I would fall as deep into this game as I had. It's been, again, a whole 3-year obsession, 3-year passion, full of countless, thousands upon thousands of hours across multiple PlayStation accounts, multiple different racing leagues with a whole host of community that I've met and grown with. And it's just, never would have thought of it when I first got into that. So this video in particular, I wanted to discuss what is currently hotly being discussed as of right now. It's tracks, and tracks. It's been out for 3 years and we're clamoring for just more updates, more content to being added to this game. So I wanted to take a kind of a retrospective back to see what's been added across these past 3 years, particularly again in the context of tracks. Yes, we've had over 100 cars being added, or close to something like that, and we've had so many engine swaps and extra menu books, and we've had extra missions being added. Hell, we've had even a full quote-unquote free game being added with the introduction of my first Gran Turismo, but again, that's kind of an aside. But as far as tracks go, let's start with the first one. This one, we're not really counting, but we should at least talk about it. It's Spa-Francorchamps. And you're sitting there going, it was there on release. What are you talking about? Well, you're correct. It is. Well, it was there on release. However, in the first ever content patch for Gran Turismo 7, this was for April 25th, 2022, the 24-hour layout was added. So for the first official full course to be added post-launch in Gran Turismo 7, it's Watkins Glen International. That was part of the 1.17 content update that was added on June 23rd, 2022. And this course has been in the game for so long, I genuinely thought this was just there on launch. It's at this point in time, I had just kind of started covering Gran Turismo, definitely not to the point of talking about monthly content updates and that kind of stuff. And I was playing it sporadically, shall we say. So I missed out on this one being added completely. It was just like whenever I started playing the game more, it was already there, so I didn't really think much of it. But to me, Watkins Glen has a special place in my heart for a couple of reasons. One of which is my uncle talked about coming to this track countless times as he lived in Buffalo, New York for years. And you could tell through his passion for this course, there was something special about it. And for me personally, why I enjoy this course is that with Downshift Racing, we had a number of events that we've had on this course. And by doing the time trial, or rather the circuit experience on it with the Hyundai GT3, the Infinite, I'm trying to remember offhand, but whatever that was, there is just something about this course. I don't know how to really describe it. It's just really different in a lot of different ways. Like, for example, this beginning spot where you have this nice winding, high-speed kind of zigzag. Yes, you have some courses that have something similar, but for an American course to have such little banking going on right at the beginning, followed by the infamous bus stop, is, I don't know, there's like a cool, oh god. Regardless, there's a cool kind of flow to it. I don't know how to really describe it. It's just cool, I guess. Of course, in this short configuration, we are missing out on the boot and the entire backside of the course. But as far as short configurations go, I mean, we had tried the short configuration for both like the American Classic Muscle series, and then we also had like a GT4 race, I want to say, on it, using the short configuration. And like I said, even the short configuration, there is something just kind of nice about it. So Watkins Glen, in my mind, is severely underrated and overall slept on. I think it's a cool little track. I really do. There's nothing quite like Watkins Glen. On November 24th, 2022, with a 1.26 update, we saw the introduction to the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. And by God, this was an awesome addition. I have never, before this game, I might have played on it in Forza Motorsport 7, and that might be even a stretch. I can't remember offhand if this was added or if I was thinking about Virginia International Raceway. But regardless, prior to this game, I didn't really know about Road Atlanta until, of course, I joined Downshift Racing, and for my very first race with, again, this beautiful Ford Mustang 429, did I finally appreciate this track. And since then, I've done countless like endurance races. We've come back to this racetrack multiple times, and I don't know what it is about this course. I think it's kind of like Watkins Glen in the way that the opening section is just so unique and so different from what I've ever experienced. I absolutely adore this track. And bar any track, I swear that this is becoming one of my favorite courses. Like I said, I can't tell you what it is about it. It's just an awesome, fun ride. And like I said, let me take you through this here. You're coming down to a very interesting entrance here because it's a sweeping, like, right turn uphill. And now you've got this blind crest that you're slightly going off to the left, and then you've got this complex. This right, and then this left. And then we're now going downhill, and we got to be careful because now we've got this right followed by this left, followed by this right, followed by this hard left here. If you go off a little bit too hard or too fast, you're going off into the gravel there. And now we're going back uphill, downhill again. Now we got a little bit of crest, and we're then back downhill. It's like, what the hell? That is just a literal roller coaster. Like, I don't know if there's ever been another track that has such a crazy entrance like that, where especially, this is even in like a slower car. So if you shove yourself in like a Super Formula, doing that at speed is nuts. So I don't know. I like I said, maybe it was gold medaling this in circuit experience. Maybe it was the countless races I've done with Downshift Racing. Maybe it's just been one of the courses that I played quite a bit of when I had my VR unit. And I just love the day to night time change when you're dealing with I wanted to say it was like the Group 2 car, so I was running the Toyota hypercar, the GR010 or the 020, one of those. I'm trying to remember offhand. And it's a spectacular track. I don't know what else to tell you. So having this added was an exceptional choice because it told me about this beautiful gem in Georgia. So if I ever find myself in the deep south of the United States, I'm going to have to find myself at this racetrack at some point because, by God, what a great course. February 21st, 2023, nearly a year after Gran Turismo 7 was released, we have seen this course being added back to the Gran Turismo franchise once again. It's been a while, but it is Grand Valley Highway 1. And I had played older Gran Turismo games. Of course, my big one being Gran Turismo 4, but with this one, I missed out completely. This is a great little course, as Kazunori Yamanuchi had done an exceptional job when he was making fictional courses, realizing that the Pacific Coast Highway is one of the most incredible pieces of tarmac on this planet. And not the best, but it's definitely there, because, I mean, take a look at this view. These mountains right across from this ocean, these cliff edges that you're just carving out on this course. I'm actually quite glad that it was made into a fictional course, because if he just added the Pacific Coast Highway, it just would have been a sprint race from point A to point B, and that's all you could have done. So by making a fictional course and taking the best aspects of this little place and making it into something magical is just awesome. And many of the keen-eyed viewers here will notice something here, that I am not even doing the normal layout. I am doing the shortened reverse layout, and there's a particular reason for that. Is yes, when this was added, us at Downshift Racing had found a lot of different events to utilize this course. And just by me playing this game quite a bit, I got used to the typical layout, got used to the iconic bridge, which even was a point of contention, because as it was re-added to this game, the bridge was heavily downsized from its incredible, majestic, tall beauty that it once was, to this just kind of, it's a bridge. But what I found interesting was kind of like Watkins Glen, where you have this standard layout, the iconic layout that you know and love, but then the shortened layout, it's got something of its own as well. And I always thought the reversed layout was just so weird, because you start on the main straight and you go into a tunnel to like this elevated blind left corner, and then you come out to this incredible view. And then again, you've got more blind corners on this little downhill spot. You now see the iconic bridge as you're coming off to the left. And then you've got another tunnel already as you come forth, battling your way against your rivals to this hard right corner to its now gradual uphill as we go across, looking across the water off to the right. And then we're now going through this little valley gorge here. More blind corners, a left-right complex, up into the second bridge. Again, admiring the views off to the right there. Then a tight left-hander, a little bit of a hairpin, dumps us out into the almost straight as we have a very light right-hander. And then we're back out once again. So, like I said, couldn't tell you why I found that so interesting. But I think it's... the shortened layout isn't even that short. I want to say that it maintains like 2/3 of the length of the course, because yes, we miss out on the bridge and we miss out on yet another tunnel. But this spot here, plus the Valley Gorge area that we cut off, we miss out on the iconic hairpin overlooking the ocean, yes. But the reverse layout, is really nice for slow to medium pace cars. I definitely wouldn't want to do this in like a GT3 car or, you know, like a GT1 or GT2 or Super Formula. This layout is not meant for that. But battling out in classic cars, battling out in Group B cars, battling it out in, I don't know, low power Japanese cars. This is what this layout is meant for. November 2nd, 2023, the infamous, or famous, I don't know why we're saying it, it's infamous, the 1.40 update known as Spec 2 was dropped, and Spec 2 was a massive update that included so many cars and a brand new track. Yes, there were multiple updates in between Grand Valley Highway and this one where, yes, the Nürburgring did get a couple of layouts, and yes, Fuji Speedway got some trackside updates. Not needing to be officially covered, but this here was a big, big moment in my mind. Because finally, we had not only the only rally track to be added post-launch, but the only snow track to also be added. And I thought that was a huge moment, considering the only rally courses that we had were Colorado Springs, Fisherman's Ranch, the Sardinia Windmill, and then the half-road, half-dirt course of the Spanish course, Catalunya. So that being said, all of them, yes, great to have rally courses in this game, obviously, because we have Group B, so not having rally courses would be kind of dumb. But I always thought it was interesting that the game had snow tires, but no snow courses. I don't know if you guys noticed that too, but I believe for the longest time you could buy snow tires, but there wasn't a usable course to use them on. So I had a feeling something eventually would be coming. And let me tell you, this was a very interesting course because we'll get back to the discussion of the track layout, but the different layouts that were offered, this was one of the few ones where I felt like they could have done a little bit of a better job of the layouts, because the first one, as we know, is the tri-oval. So it's just the straight, the big main corner, and then I think they use this corner here, or a variation of it. And then they dump you back out over there, and then it's back out to the main straight. Fine, I guess it's cool to have, but again, when it's a snow course that's for Group B, yes, the official course that they used it was they had the pickup trucks use it, so fine. The short course, again, straight, and then a couple of zigzags, and then we're back to the straight. There wasn't anything that was really just grabbing at my attention, but this course here, I think they did a great job for the extended layout, considering it's in Canada. It's got all these trees. You've got these beautiful mountains off into the background here. That just absolutely blinding snow everywhere. If you've got an HDR display, good Lord, good luck, Godspeed. This just will absolutely blind you. But it's a great course in the extended layout, the full course. And this is why I love this course. You can kind of tell I've got a flow for courses, because they just take you and they send you straight into a drift around this massive hairpin. Like, that's sick. This next part, it's always a little bit awkward for me. You gotta kind of flick it to get around this way. It's a little bit challenging to get just right at speed. Now this part here, Looks like we've got a little bit of a lodge, a little bit of a concert stage, something. But this is one of my favorite parts of this course. You're taking all that speed. You're now going way, 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 way down. And then you got to do a little bit of a flick around this massively banked corner up into another really unique section. This entire part is an ever... I can't tell if it's decreasing. I think it's ever decreasing radii. So it's the more you go, the tighter it gets. The tighter and the tighter and the tighter it gets. So there's a very specific way to attack it before you get into this little bit of a blind left-hander. And then you go again into yet another blind left-hander. Incredibly tight corner. And then you gotta flick it around to drift into the last part where you go down this huge ski slope. Not one, but two crests as you go over the hill, or go over the line, and then you're flicked out into this main corner, once again, massively banked. God, it's so cool when you can do it at speed. So yeah, I think they did a great job for the layout of this course. I'm sad that the tri-oval and the short course aren't able to use more of the fun parts of this course. Unfortunately, they just don't do it for me, but this full layout is just exceptional. From the details of the trackside, it's a really busy trackside. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you can tell they really had to take their time here, because normally it's just like, you know, general people and general crowds and, you know, just trees or a couple of buildings or whatever. But a lot of the trackside stuff here is you can tell that the people are in like ski suits. You've got like this orange kind of barrier there, which normally isn't used on other courses. Again, you've got the sponsored kind of stuff over here. I don't think this stuff as well is normally used all the time. But then you've got all these snowbanks. You've got all the, you know, rocks with snow on them. You've got the trees with snow on them. I mean, there's so much detailed trackside that is specific just to like a winter environment that you can tell a lot of time and energy was made to get this right. I think they did a really good job. So yeah, Lake Louise, underrated, very underrated in my mind. 7 months later, on July 25th, 2024, a new course was added, and it is Egger Nordvand. If we're going completely atrocious with our accent there. Now, this one, I think it's another fun little course. As again, the last time we saw this was Gran Turismo 5, I want to say something like that. And I mean, I was blown away then. I'm blown away now because you've got these just absolutely incredible mountains in the background. Controversially, the pit lane became the tunnel, and this spot we no longer had the tunnel, so it was moved over. In my mind, the pit lane should have been up here somewhere. It would have made sense to put it kind of up along here along the side and then just kept the tunnel where it used to be. But I am being a little bit overly critical here because when we come around here, just look at that view. Like, what the hell? And it's just this tiny little course. You're done in barely a minute. And you've got this tight hairpin complex just going downhill. One hairpin after another. After another. After another. So a little bit slow, I'll admit. And then it dumps you out onto this bridge overlooking these mountains. And then you've got this little right-hander here that brings you around as it sends you back uphill, admiring the little bit of a tunnel that should have been, which is actually fun to drive through it, and you see all the rocks and all of it. It looks like a little mine. That's kind of fun. And then this part here, this is the most notorious corner because it doesn't look like much, but having that little bit of an elevation change really just grew things up. And then we come up to the very top of the course, a very hard right, as we're trying to keep it nice and tight on the inside, as we're now sent back out here to go for another lap. And this course, again, you definitely don't want to drive Group 1 cars or Group 2 or Group 3. The maximum you want to do is Group 4, and anything Group 4 and slower, it is a joyride. I mean, we did a couple of kart races with downshift racing, and those were, oh god, those are just absolute chaos. And it's like a Mario Kart course with all this elevation change, and it's narrow, and it's just stupid fun. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, you can tell with all the courses that were added post-launch, the reason why it's been taking so long is the trackside detail has just been crazy. We hear Kazunori Yamauchi talking about how if they were to add a city course, that would take 3 times as long as normal courses because of all the buildings and stuff. But I think with what he's been adding, they've also taken a similar amount of time just because there's just all sorts of stuff going on in the background, and this is no exception. The amount of details in the mountains is just nuts. Like, I'm not going to call this my favorite course because it's obviously not, but it's definitely up there. It really is. It's just this dumb little course that it's a go-kart track. It's a Mario Kart track, you know? So that leads me to the future. I mean, it's been probably 7 months since the last track being updated or added to the game. And no notes, no nothing, but that's normally how Polyphony goes. They normally don't let you know until it's out. So I do genuinely believe there's one more course coming. I think it's smart for them. I think it's smart to say at this point that it's probably not going to be a city course. I would have loved. I actually severely, dearly miss Seattle. That was a great track in Gran Turismo 4. I still remember that. New York wasn't bad. I missed the Monaco. I'm trying to remember offhand the name of it, but basically Monaco. I would love Polyphony to add Monaco. I don't think it's happening. So my thoughts are, we've heard leaks a long time ago around Spec 2 time that Canada's Gilles Villeneuve course is coming. I'm not quite sure about that one. I mean, it's been long enough that if it were coming, it would have been here. But I think there's still too much city environment still close enough by where it's just too technical of a course to be added. So honestly, because it was rumored, maybe. But I'm thinking Silverstone? And this one is going to be just because I've been to this course multiple times. I would love to see Road America. I mean, that one, it's in the middle of frickin' nowhere. You can just add in a bunch of trees, make a quick little course. Hell, you can be done in 3 months. I mean, it's just... it's a great course. It shouldn't take that much programming to get done. Of course, I'm not a game developer, so I'm obviously understating the amount of work that goes into it. I know. But, again, would be kind of cool that Road America is in. Do I think it's actually coming? No. Do I think it'd be easy? Yeah, probably. I don't know. But, that being said, For the full 39 courses that Gran Turismo 7 has, they are at the highest fidelity ever. And currently, it is the second most course-intensive Gran Turismo game so far. Gran Turismo 4 had 51, so yes, we can argue that it's a far cry from Gran Turismo 4, but 39 incredibly detailed courses that I can almost assure you is going to be in Gran Turismo 8. They've already scanned the courses, they've already made the courses, they've already come up with the courses, they've already designed and added all these beautiful textures. Pick up, drop into the next game. If they're not in the next game, I'm going to have a lot of questions. Because, I don't know, it just seems like they should be there. But, my point being, 3 years and 5 courses. Yes, we all wish that they added more. But the ones that were added were badass. Those were incredible courses. Watkins Glen is legendary in its own way. Road Atlanta is just a great experience. Grand Valley Highway is a much needed shot of nostalgia. Kind of a returning of an old classic course. Lake Louise is a much needed snow course for the Group B cars. And Igard Neuvan is just a great kart track. So to cap it off, one last big hurrah. Give us a legendary course like Gilles Villeneuve, or more importantly, Silverstone is my thought. Just give us that last hurrah, and then go radio silent until you announce Gran Turismo 8. So as much as I am much like the community where having more courses would be great, it kind of forces me to appreciate the ones that we already do have. I mean, Tokyo Expressway, I need to just play on more often because it's just a crazy technical course where you just got to be on it. And obviously I'm not. I still think Dragon Trail in Croatia, that one is also a really underrated one that I should probably drive on more. But more importantly, what do you guys think? Tell me what your favorite post-launch tracks have been, or tell me what your favorite tracks in general have been. There have been a lot of courses that I haven't touched on in this game, in this video. Daytona, great one. I will always die by Spa-Francorchamps. Absolutely the best course ever made, bar none. Fight me. Absolutely, just, I will defend to the death in the comment sections on that one. So again, please let me know what your guys' favorite courses have been, favorite post-launch courses have been. So again, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye!